everybody! Today we are going to talk about the flowers and the bees.
Let me tell you about the birds and the bees and the flowers and the trees and the moon up above and a thing called love.
I'm sorry for that. No, we're not going to have that kind of talk. We are actually going to talk about flowers and bees by having a look at Waggle Dance, a game published by Grublin Games and designed by Mike Nutt. Now, Waggle Dance is a game I received last year at Spiel, and they asked me to do a review copy of it. So, Grublin Games, if you are watching, I want to apologize. It has taken me a bit longer to do this review, but here I am, and I'm looking forward to showing you what a game about bees and flowers can be all about. I'm going to give you an overview for the components that are coming with the game. I'm going to show you how a game plays of Waggle Dance, and then in the end I'm going to present you the conclusion. So let us start with showing you what you will find in the box of Waggle Dance. Okay, let me show you what will come in the game of Waggle Dance. Now, first of all, I want to show you the great artwork that's on the box. As you can see, you see a factory and you see some beepelins, bees that are working, some flowers. It's a quite surrealistic science fiction kind of image. I don't know what's the relation to the game because the rest of the game is quite realistic. But I really like this gorgeous art, so I wouldn't want to miss the opportunity to show you this. Another thing that I found in the box, and I think is really great they included it, is a poster, because the game was kickstarted, and it's actually a poster with all the Kickstarter backer names on it. So I really like this. It shows a lot of gratitude of the company to include this, so I think it's really nice to do this. Then we have the rules. The rules are really well written. You have an overview from all the components in the game, as well as the different cards, and also all the actions are really well explained. So that's what's concerned the rules. What do you have then? You have tokens, these represent the eggs. You have several cubes, these are the nectar cubes. It also includes an extra dice. This is a random bee that can come and help you on several occasions. You have different tiles with a honey color and just a neutral color. These are the honeycomb tiles. And then you have 4 sets of dice. These are your worker bees, and the dice are just gorgeous. If you can see, on the number 1 spot there's an actual bee, and if you look at the different numbers of the dice, they are all in the shape of a honeycomb. So it's really nice done. If my friends of the Dice Cup Museum are watching, these are dice that should come to your collection. And then at the end there are several cards. You have a card to show the phase of the game, the day phase or the night phase. Then you have 6 cards, no, there are more, sorry, cards numbered from A to G, and these cards will be used to set up the board. I will explain them a bit later. And then for the rest you have queen cards, queen bee cards. that will give you several extra abilities to influence the game. So these are the components that come with the game. I will set up the board for you so you can see how it plays, and I will take you through the different actions you can do in the game. Okay, so this is the initial setup for a game of Waggle Dance. So what can you see here? A really nice setup. Oh, I should remove these dice. A nice setup, don't you agree, with a nice flower that is created? What can you see? We have the different tiles for the eggs, which you will be able to hatch to get additional worker bees. You have a random worker bee that you are granted by some of the queen cards. You have extra tiles for your honeycomb to expand your hive. You start the game with three different neutral honeycomb, and you have to try to get the honey on the back side, and you start the game with 6 worker bees. You also have a card that's given to the star player, and which shows the phase of the game, the day phase or the night phase. So let me explain every action you will be able to take. Now, Waggle Dance is a worker placement game, and a lot of the cards, not all of them, have different dice numbers on it, which you will need to roll to be able to get the action done. So this action will give you another honeycomb that you will be able to add to your hive. The second one is the card that will allow you to hatch an egg. So if you are able, or were able, to get an egg in a previous round, and you can place 2 dice or 2 worker bees with the same value on your egg, you will be able to hatch the egg. You remove the egg from your honeycomb and you get an extra worker bee. The third action you are able to do is the action you will need to be able to do the previous action. So you have to place a worker bee with the right value to score an egg. Then we come to the different flowers. So this is the flower 1. You have flowers going up from 1 to 6 with different colors. So again, you need to place the right worker bee with the right number on a card. And what is interesting on these flowers, that's the only way to score nectar. And you need 4 nectar on one of your honeycombs to be able to produce honey. Now, you don't get a nectar cube per die you place on a flower. No, you only score nectar cubes if you are the highest or second highest player with the most number of dice. If there is a tie and you have both the highest number of dice, then you score both 1 nectar cube. If you are the only one with the highest number of dice, you score 2. The second player scores only 1 nectar cube, and if there is another player tied to that position, nobody scores it. So that's an interesting strategy to the game, because this way you can prevent players from getting the nectar they need too soon. So these are the 6 different flowers. Then you have this action card. Again, you need to place worker bees with the right number on it, and this will allow you to actually perform 2 actions. You can trade in an egg for a cube, a nectar cube of your choice, or you can trade in 2 of the same cubes to another nectar cube of your choice. Then we have another card that will allow you to do 2 actions. This is the card that will allow you to create honey from the nectar cubes. So as you can see, you need 4 nectar cubes with the same color, and you need to place 2 worker bees with the same number on it. If you are able to do that, you can transform this honeycomb to its honey side version. If you are not able to do that, you might do the second action, and that's moving one of your nectars. Every time you take nectar, you must place it on one of your honeycombs, and your honeycombs only have room for 4 nectar cubes. So sometimes you can get into a position where your nectar cubes are on different honeycombs, and you need to put them back together to be able to make honey out of it. So this will allow you to transfer your honey cubes, your nectar cubes, sorry, to a new honeycomb. How do you do that? Well, you need to place 2 worker bees with the same value, one on both tiles or honeycombs you want to transfer a nectar cube from. This is this card, and then this action card will allow you to draw queen bee cards, which allow you to take extra actions in the game, some benefits. So, to show you how a game works, I will roll my dice. And now, for instance, I have a 6, I have 2 3s. Oh, be careful, 2 3s, a 2, a 4, a 1 and a 5. Now, if I'm the start player, I can put my worker bee first. I place 1 worker bee at a time, and then it's on the next player, and so play continues until all worker bees are placed. So for instance, it might be a good idea to expand my hive with extra honeycombs, so I can put a number 1 on the spot here, and now no one else can put a number 1 die there. They need to have other values to be able to score an extra honeycomb. For instance, if a place comes back to me, I can play a 5 to get an extra egg, and to achieve nectar I can place 3 on the flower with the number 3, and it might be a good idea to score some queen bee cards. Let's say I want a lot of them, and like this the turn ends because all worker bees are placed. Then we go to the night phase, and we are going to resolve the actions. So I take my worker bee here to score a honeycomb, and I add it to my hive. I score an egg. I'm the highest at the flower, so I score 2 nectar cubes, and I must immediately place them on one of my honeycombs. So I can't place it here on the honeycomb with the egg, because an egg is taking space, a complete space of a honeycomb. So I have to place it on another one. If I'm not able to place it, I can't score it, and I have to forfeit my the action of my, or the outcome of my worker bee. And then I'm able to score 4 cards, queen bee cards, and it's a great opportunity to explain a bit about the queen bees cards. On the cards you can see a phase icon which shows you in which phase of the game you need to play it. I'm not going to go through all of the queen bee cards and the abilities they offer. They are nicely explained in the rules. So what you see, for instance, here is a card that will allow me to use 4 nectar cubes, but 2 from different kind of colors, so maybe 2 yellow and 2 orange, and I will be able to transform this honeycomb to a honey. For instance, this die will allow me to use the extra worker bee, so I have an extra bee and can take an extra action during a round. This card will, for instance, allow me to change a result to any result I want. So these cards really add to the game and let you influence it. Some cards will even influence the actions other players can take. So when you start the game, you decide how long you want to make the game. I would suggest to choose the short version of the game. Then you will need to transform your honeycombs to 5 honey. There are longer versions of the game, but in my honest opinion, I think the best version is the shorter version, which plays in about an hour with 4 players, and I think that's long enough for this game. So I hope you have a clear overview of how the game plays. You place your worker bees one at a time, which will allow you to take actions, and using these actions you will have to try to achieve the decided number of honey you need to produce. I must say, Grublin Games, I owe you a lot. You taught me a lesson, and I'm going to tell you why. I always considered myself as a gamer with a broad interest in different kind of board games. But if I'm honest with myself, I don't think I would have given Waggle Dance any chance. Not because it's a bad game, not at all, it's far from a bad game, but just because I think I would have walked right past it. I wouldn't have given a game about flowers and bees any interest. And oh boy, would I have been wrong, and would I have missed a great opportunity to play this awesome game, because I really like this game. I've played it with several of my friends. Some of them are experienced board game players, some of them aren't board game players at all, but they all liked this game. The game is gorgeous, the setup is really appealing, it plays fast. You should really stick to the short version of the game. The longer version takes too long in my opinion, so the short version gives you the most fun to play. I was also in the beginning a little bit concerned about the fact that it included a lot of dice. I always hate games where you have a lot of luck factor in it. I like to be in control. But I was surprised to find out that you can almost always do something with the dice, with the worker bees you roll, even though some opponents might be first to do an action you were planning to do, but even then you can choose another action and you always can benefit from your worker bees at the end of the round. So it's really nice to find out different strategies. I do think that if you play the game a few times, you will find out which strategies really work in the game and which ones you will be trying to achieve. But on the other end, because of the fact you work with dice, you have a little bit of a random factor to it, so you will need to adjust your strategies and adjust it to what your opponents are trying to do. So I can really recommend this game. It's a nice game to play with players that aren't used to playing board games, but also experienced gamers will love it. It's a game you can bring on the table on every kind of occasion, and I think that tells a lot about the game. It's a really great game I can recommend. So Grublin Games, thumbs up, you did a really nice job with Waggle Dance. So this concludes my video review for this time. Thank you for watching this video, and as always, may the board be with you and the dice be ever in your favor. Bye bye!